All right, it looks like we're live. Happy Friday, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day to everyone that's celebrating today. Just wanted to hop on today and just talk about what some of my favorite websites are that I'm using as a content creator right now. And there will be more, I'm sure, that I'm forgetting to add to this list, but I just wanted to hop on today, one, to hang out with you guys, see how things have been this week, and then two, to just share with you some of these things that have been really helpful for me, because some of these things I discovered a little bit later in my journey on creating content. And so I'm really glad that I know what these things are now. And again, some of these things didn't even actually exist before. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll go through some of my favorite websites. And then at the end, if you guys have any questions, we can go through that. So the first one that I have on my list here, and oh, by the way, I wanted to say that all of these websites that I'm going to be mentioning today none of them are, I'm not sponsored by any of them. No one's paying me to say anything. These are just websites that are helpful for me. I'll have some affiliate links down in the description. If you want to check them out, I do get a commission from that, if you want to support the channel, but nobody's paying me to say anything. These are just my honest opinion on these websites. And some of them I use, but they aren't necessarily my favorite. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first website that I use probably the most is going to be Notion. And so let me go ahead and put it up here on the screen. I made a full video on Notion, but obviously, I don't really need to go into Notion too much. At this point in time, everybody's probably heard of Notion. If you use Notion, let me know down in the chat. Just put me down in the chat and let me know. But Notion has been incredibly helpful for me as for my content calendar. So what I do is it populates this here on my content calendar for all of my videos. And then I can go in here and do my video projects. And I'll just show you kind of like a high level. I don't have to get too deep into this. Again, if you want to check out a full video on this, I have it on both my channel. But what I'll do is I'll create a new video idea, and then I'll go in here and I'll create the name of it. And then I can just go in here and just be as detailed as possible, which is really helpful in the pre-production process, because the more planning that goes into a video, at least in my experience, the easier it is to film and actually edit the video. And it makes for a lot faster of a turnaround time when it comes to creating content. So you go in here, you can label all this, you can put whether or not the video has a sponsor, the publish date, the channel that it's going to go on, if it's long form, short form, or if you're doing it for a course, title ideas, so on and so forth. You can script inside of here, research notes. Now, this is a template that I use that I actually got from Nicholas Crystal that I kind of modified to make it my own, but you can find templates all over. You can look on YouTube and find templates for this. If you guys would be interested in a template similar to this and me making one, let me know down in the comments of this video, and that might be something that I end up doing. But I just like using this because it really makes my process so much more simple. I can make more decisions, more creative decisions whenever I'm actually filming the content. And this kind of gives me a structure and a plan when it comes to creating content. But that's the first one. So the first one is Notion. If you haven't heard of it, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but this is such a game changer when it comes to content creation. There we go. Now let's look at the next one that I have here on my list is actually Google Docs and the Google Suite altogether. If you're not using Google Docs, if you're still using Microsoft, or if you're using Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, I don't know what you're doing these days, because Google Docs is free, Google Sheets is free, and I use Google Docs really for it's been like my main thing for scripting lately. Let me just go ahead and share it up here on the screen. I'll use it for scripting here, and this is an old video that I had, and this is kind of just the skeleton of it. It's a little bit messy, and I apologize, but Google Docs has been super helpful for my scripting. I just put ideas inside of here sometimes if I'm just in a hurry and I just need a place to put something. I'll use Google Docs, or I also use Google Sheets, which is really good for building spreadsheets and things like that. If I'm trying to come up with like a content plan, it's really helpful. But Google Docs, Google Sheets, super helpful. On top of, going back to the Notion side of things, it's really just, trying to figure out which one is going to be best for you. But I've been kind of gravitating more towards just scripting, having like a template inside of Google Docs and then working inside of Google Drive. That's been what's been most helpful for me. Now, the next one that we have here on the list is Milanote, and Milanote is really good. You can use it for a number of different ways. I've really just been using it lately just for coming up with thumbnail concepts. So what I'll do is let's click on one of my thumbnail concepts here. So this is something that I got from Film Booth, which is really helpful actually. So I'll just do like a couple of my drafts, and I'll put them inside of here, and I'll just kind of get an idea. I can see at a glance I can compare all of my thumbnails with the different titles. And this has been really helpful in coming up with what thumbnail I'm going to decide to use for my video. Now, you can also use this if you're big into like storyboarding. For me, I do like to do storyboarding, but a lot of times I'll just storyboard and I'll do that on paper versus doing it inside of Milanote. But you can do it with Milanote in combination with something like ShotDeck. And ShotDeck is really good. You don't have to, ShotDeck, you actually have to pay for. I think you can get like a 2-week free trial for it. But ShotDeck, what it is a website that has a bunch of film photos from different popular movies, and you can take those photos and kind of piece them together and come up with a vision board. I wish I had an example here for you. I don't really use this myself, but I have seen creators that use Milanote and ShotDeck in combination with one another to kind of build up a like a storyboard, or just to come up with a vision board for whatever project they're working on. Let's see. Let's look at the next one that we have on the list. Let me know if you guys are having a good Friday. Let me know down in the chat. And if you're here watching on the replay, let me know what you guys are, if you're getting some value from this so far. I haven't uncovered really anything that's super new or anything like that, but these tools are incredibly helpful. It's just like things that I wish before I would just use Microsoft Word and I would just diarrhea all over this actual Word document. And it just wasn't very effective. I felt like it was efficient because I was just doing all this, putting all these words down, but it was not effective at all. Okay, so the next one that we have here on the list is ChatGPT. I'm not going to pull up ChatGPT. Everybody knows that you can use it, but how do you use it? Well, for me, I don't rely solely on ChatGPT. We all know this, that ChatGPT, you can ask it to create a script for you. You can give it a video idea and have it create a video script for you, telling you want the video to be 5 minutes long, and it's going to spit something out for you. But honestly, in my experience and as other creators' experiences that I've seen on social media, it's going to give you something that is just like very robotic, soulless, sounds very AI. So what I like to use ChatGPT for is first, I will do it for ideation. So what I'll do is I will give it some information like, hey, I'm thinking about coming up with this concept. I want to talk about photography, or I want to talk about videography, and I want to go out to this location and I want to do this specific thing. And could you give me some ideas on ways that I can make it more interesting? And so really, I'm just using it for feedback, kind of like you would have as like a personal assistant or a friend that you could definitely ask your friends or family about it. But I use ChatGPT as someone to bounce ideas off of, to kind of formulate, to get some feedback and really just kind of dig into what could make my idea more interesting. Now, the other way that you can do this is you can apply that to title creation or thumbnail creation as well. So you can go in there and what I like to do is I like to keep my titles under 53 characters for my videos. And so what I'll do is I'll go in there and I'll give it kind of like the parameters of what I want. So I want the video to sound like it's a big idea, something big or new. And I want it to sound like something that's not clickbait as well. And so what it'll do is it'll start spitting me back a few titles, and then I'll just pick and choose different pieces from there, and I'll come up with my title concept that way. Now, I do not recommend just copying and pasting the information that you get from ChatGPT and just making a video from it. That's not how I use it. Now, could you do it that way? Absolutely. But I wouldn't expect to get any type of results if you were just doing that way. Now, the next thing that we have here, as far as production, what I do is I use StreamYard for these live streams. There's not really any websites that I use for actually filming my videos. Everything is usually in the pre-production or post-production, which I'll get into here in just a bit. But I don't really have that much that I use for actual production, except for StreamYard. And what I'm using here on StreamYard, this is I think the core plan. It's not the advanced plan, so it's not the more expensive plan. It's I guess the middle ground. And this is everything I need. It gives me 1080p video. It allows me to be able to interact and chat with you guys and have your stuff pop up on the screen if you guys interact with me. So StreamYard is really helpful. It's probably, you have other free options out there like OBS, but I honestly can say that StreamYard has been the easiest, most user-friendly. If you're not somebody that is I'm not sitting over here. I don't have any sort of like streaming tech or anything like that to be able to switch in between different, I could probably do that. But for me, as kind of an amateur when it comes to live streaming, this makes it so simple for me to just be able to go live with you guys and actually have a conversation and not be like a hot mess. Because I'll be honest with you, if I was using something like OBS, this would probably be a disaster of a stream. Now, the next thing that we have here is Mixkit on the list. And Mixkit was something that I discovered And it made it helpful for me, especially if you're on a budget, right? If you don't have a whole lot of money to be throwing at like something like Envato or something like Motion Array and stuff like that, Mixkit is a really great option for you to be able to get editing assets for your videos. So let me go ahead and pull it up on the screen. So we have Mixkit up here, and this is actually, I believe it's owned by Envato Elements. And so you can get stock video from here. You can get music, sound effects. You can actually get After Effects and Premiere Pro templates from here as well. So like title packs and things like that. But they actually have some 4K video. Let's see. I'll just go ahead and accept cookies. All right. So you can see down here, you can download it. I don't know if you can download it in 4K. You can find, now, don't get me wrong. You can find a bunch of stuff here, but it's just like anything free. It's definitely going to have some limitations. The library is not going to be as extensive as a paid option would be. So just keep that in mind, but you can just type something in here. Let's just type in drone. We can find some drone footage. Okay. And you can see, you can find some drone shots inside of here if you needed to find some for your project. Now let's just do something. Let's do one more search just for something different. Let's go music. Yeah, so you can see there's some things that you could use for like videos that would have music in it, or you're looking for a certain type of vibe for your video. You could definitely find some things in here. That is on the, so that's on the video side of things. Now you can definitely go in here and you can find sound effects and music as well. And I've been impressed with the music side of things. So let's go with classical. In classical, it's going to have some stuff in here, but it's going to be, some of it's going to be very not usable. But there are other options in here. Let's just, you can go in here and search by genre or mood, and you can find some pretty good stuff. Let's pick a different genre. Let's go with something like hip hop. And yeah, you can find, I don't want to play them in here on the stream because it might not sound that great, but you can find plenty of options. Any one of the options that are here that are highlighted in green, you have to actually have a subscription with Envato, but all of these down here in blue, they are good to go. So I think it depends on the genre. So let's look at one more different genre. And actually let's look at a different mood. Yeah. So it looks like all the ones that are purple down here, they used to be different colors. I think you can download these and you don't have to worry about creating an account or anything like that. You can just go ahead and download it right away, which is super helpful. And I like the fact that you don't have to create an account. You can just download it straight from the website. Now, a couple of downsides to using anything free, usually anything that's free has probably been used multiple times, but there's a chance that you can find some. They're always adding stuff here. I do believe that a lot of this stuff is things that are coming from the Envato library that they just kind of dump into this location here. And let's just go ahead and look into the templates that we have here. So they have Premiere Pro, After Effects, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve. We'll look at Premiere Pro. And these title packs, they're really good. I've used like the lower thirds, especially from some of these to have. It's like they're not bad. I don't know very many other places that you're going to find some of these different templates that are this quality for free that you can just use. Now, and I'll talk about it here more in just a bit. You always want to double check. This is one of the websites that this isn't legal advice, but just obviously do your own research. But from my experience, I haven't seen any issues with using this. And always go and look at the license agreement for these specific things whenever you're going to download something and use it, especially on YouTube. Believe it or not, I've actually gotten a copyright strike before on one of my videos, and it was just from me just being ignorant to what I was doing. So definitely always look at the license and make sure that the license that you are using, so you can use this for free license to be used in YouTube videos, social media video posts, online marketing ads, so on and so forth. But definitely always look at the license and make sure that you're clear to use what you're using. That way you're not getting into any trouble with copyright or anything like that. Don't ever just blindly follow what a creator is telling you on YouTube to use. Always do your research first. Like, I get it. There's creators that they're not trying to steer you astray or anything like that, but maybe they just don't know themselves. So just always make sure that you're looking at the license to make sure that you're covered. Now, going on to the next one that we have on the list here is Pexels. And Pexels is a really great website for finding stock photo and stock video. So a lot of people know about the photo side of things, but it wasn't too long ago when I figured out that they actually have stock videos as well. So if we change this to videos here, let's type in Ariel. And you can see that they got some pretty good looking drone footage. And all of this you're clear to download, which is really cool. So really like Pexels, super helpful. And the next one that we have here is Unsplash. And Unsplash, to my knowledge, they don't have any stock video, but they do have stock photos. So you can definitely find stock photos in here to use as well, which is really good. And then we have Adobe Stock. Now, Adobe Stock, I actually use the paid version of Adobe Stock, but you can go in here and you can drop down to this little free option here, and you can find free photos and free videos as well. And they're actually pretty good. So let's look at some of the free videos that they have. And so you can go in here and look at some of the free stuff that they have, and you can type aerial timeline. Let's do something a little different than what we've been doing. I'll show you the aerial real quick, and then we'll type in something else. So you can go in here and you can see that it needs to have this little box here that says free, and then you can download that there as well. And then you can look at the license here to make sure that you're all good. And then let's just type in something different. Let's go with something like, let's go with city. So yeah, you see you got some time lapses in here. You got some drone footage. So this is really helpful as well. I didn't know that you could actually get anything from Adobe Stock. That I thought it was all paid for. So all you have to do is just Google, or you can Google Adobe Stock or Adobe Stock free assets, and it should pop up something on those lines. And once you get on the website, just to double check, make sure you click that drop down to free, and you'll be able to search. And you can do this for photos and videos as well. All right, let's see what we have next on the list. Are you guys getting any value from this in the chat? These are a few websites that I tried to sift through a lot of the junk, because you'll see a lot of websites that are out there that creators are using that is not safe for other creators to use. Like, it's just a matter of time until they end up getting some sort of a copyright strike or deal with some copyright issues. Let me know if you guys are getting any value from this in the chat. All right, let's see what we got next on the list. All right, next we have on the list, we have Epidemic Sound. And Epidemic Sound is a paid website where you can get music and sound effects royalty free. And they are my go-to for all of my video, and anything that I've been doing that has had music on it on my YouTube channel has all been done through Epidemic Sound. I can't recommend them enough. Like, they're so good to work with. They actually flew me out to Sweden a few years ago, and I got to hang out with their team for a few days out in Sweden. So these are, love these guys, love what they have. The music is just, top notch. I love that they work not only with just creators, but they also work with musicians as well. And they kind of bring the musicians or the artists and the creators together to kind of just collaborate with one another. And I love the ecosystem that they built with what they're doing. And so you can go in here and you can find music. And so let me just backtrack real quick. So what I love is that, one, as soon as I log in, I can see specific tracks that are recommended for my YouTube channel based off of other videos. So it kind of keeps some consistent branding or some consistency across my channel with the type of stuff that I actually publish there. And then they also have things that are recommended to me more off of based off of what I've recently downloaded and everything like that. So that's really cool too. So we can go in here if we just want to do a clean search for just music. You can look at latest tracks, or you can do popular tracks, or you can just search down here by genre or mood. So let's go with something like happy. And then you can see that I like to, there's one of the big things that I like to do is always make sure that I'm using music that's not like, it's not been used a million times, because we've all heard that track on somebody's YouTube video that's been outplayed so many times, or you've ever been scrolling through like TikTok or Instagram, you've heard that same song used on an Instagram reel too many times where you immediately want to swipe away as it immediately turns you away from the content. So I'm always looking for something that's popular, but it's still new. Or you can look at something that you can just turn that off and just base it off of something that's new and go look that way. And yeah, but I love that you can not only you can see the waveform and everything, but you can also find a similar track based off of something that you have. So you can pick a certain section of this song that you like. And maybe the song's not like the certain amount of beats or everything like that. You can pick a certain segment of that song, and then it will find similar tracks to that specific segment. And then you can go in there and listen to them as well. This is really helpful. I also really like that you can create versions of that specific song. So instead of having to do it inside of Premiere, you can just create a 15-second snippet. Like if you just need like a 15-second portion of that clip, that's kind of like, it's going to be faded out smoothly. It's going to sound like it was edited professionally. Then you can just click like 15 seconds, 45 seconds, 60 seconds, or you can do a custom one, and you can make it loopable as well. And it will spit it out down here, and you can download that version, which is, oh my gosh, it's so helpful for you to be able to just do that and not have to worry about editing the audio. You can just have that done and out of the way with. So incredibly helpful there. That's the music side of things. Now the sound effects are top notch as well. Any sound effect that you can think of, I'm pretty sure you can find. And like they have so many different sound effects. Like you can go in here and find, let's do bells. You could find so many different kind of bells in here, or you can find like whoosh sound effects. And let's say that let's just go back real quick. If you don't want to do all that, like digging through all these different sound effects, another thing that you can do is you can actually look at, let's go back to Discover. Let me find it real quick. You can actually go in here and you can find like a playlist of some of your like really popular, let's just type in this. Let's go documentary. And for music, we can go to a theme here, and then you can find like actual playlists that are specific to that theme. So investigative crime, if you want to do something like that. Here, I can just play this real quick for us. It won't be loud. So it pulls up like that theme that you're looking for. It makes it, I mean, it's so easy to find the stuff that you want. And you can do something similar to that as well. So you can type in, let's type in retro sound effects. Let's see what that does. Now it doesn't pull up that. I thought there was a way to be able to do it. Playlist for the actual sound effects, but maybe we're not there yet. All I know is there's so many sound effects. So if you have an idea what you're looking for, you'll be able to go and find it. I'll have a link for this for Epidemic Sound. It'll be down in the description. You can try Epidemic Sound for 30 days for free if you want. If you're not interested after 30 days, you're all good. But whatever you want to do. But I love Epidemic Sound. Other people like Artlist, they swear by it. It's just whatever suits your needs. I don't use Artlist myself, but I have used Epidemic Sound. I've been using them for years now, and I haven't ever had any copyright issues or anything like that. I can't say enough good things about them. They're so good. But anyways, we're moving on to the next one that we have on the list. So the next thing that we have here, let me look real quick. We have, okay, so this next one is really good. It's similar to Mixkit, but this is actually going to be a paid option. But anything that you get paid is usually going to be, you're paying for, it's going to be much bigger of a library, and that is Storyblocks. So Storyblocks is something I've been using for a while. I'm sure you've seen a creator talk about Storyblocks here on YouTube, and Storyblocks has been really helpful for me just to go and find something that I need. Like whenever I was in Sweden, I vlogged out there. There's a video on the channel if you want to check that out. I needed some drone footage because I didn't bring my drone with me. So let's just type in Stockholm, Sweden, and let's type in Ariel. If I could spell today. And then I can just find some drone footage, and I can add that to my video, and I don't have to worry about any copyright issues or anything like that. It's been really helpful. I've really used this a lot for drone footage because there's a lot of places that you go to that you're not allowed to fly a drone, and there's a lot of complexity when it comes to getting permission to be able to fly a drone. So that's been really helpful for that. Or if I need like some tight shots of a specific thing, so let's do like typing on a computer. Let's just type on a laptop. If you need to get like a tight shot of someone typing on a laptop, and you don't want to use it for like a website, or if you want to use it just for something in your video to help aid in telling your story, this is just a really great resource for finding B-roll for the specific videos that you're working on. Let's see. Gabriel Felix asks, is Storyblocks like Envato? It is now to a certain extent. They're not going to have some of the things that Envato is going to have. I think Envato leans a lot more towards the editing asset side of things. It depends on the type of plan that you have with Storyblocks, and I'll pull that up here real quick and kind of show you. So you have a few different options here you can go with. So they do have After Effects templates, Premiere Pro templates. They have images, which I think you have to have a certain type of plan to be able to be on. I'm not even, I would have to double check and look, but yes, it is very similar to Envato Elements. I just don't use Envato that much, or I didn't use it enough whenever I had it. And to be honest with you, when I used Envato before, I did have some little copyright things that I had to dispute. I wasn't ever in any trouble with copyright, but I would have these little things pop up on my YouTube videos that would say that there's a copyright issue. And I had it tied to my YouTube channel and everything, and I was good from there. Maybe it was something that I was doing wrong, I'm not sure, but I had some issues with Envato in the past. So I've been using Storyblocks strictly ever since. But let me just show you some of those like those actual templates that you can use for like Premiere Pro and After Effects. So let's type in, let's go retro. Actually, let's do titles. If you want to use some titles for your video, you can go in here and find some really good, easy to use titles that you just have to just drop them into Essential Graphics, and you can type in what you want and it's automatically animated for you. It's super easy. But love Storyblocks. Can't recommend them enough. They've been super helpful. I don't use a whole bunch of stock video just nowadays because I like to get a lot of my own B-roll. But there has been times, like I said, during that Sweden trip where I didn't actually, if you don't ever know, if you're going out and you're shooting and then you forget to get footage of a certain thing, go to Storyblocks and you'll probably be able to find somebody's actually gotten some footage of it, and you'll be able to still have it for your video. So it's saved me a few times so far. All right, let's see what we have next on the list. Now there's some that I'm leaving out. And the reason why I've left out some of these, like you have Motion Array, you have Artlist, you have Envato, it's because I don't use them. I didn't want to recommend to you guys anything that I didn't use myself. And that if these are my favorite things that I'm using. And so I didn't want to, there are other options out there, but these are the ones that have been helpful for me. I've tried a lot of different tools, but these have been the ones that have stuck with me the longest. They've been the most helpful. So just wanted to make sure that, there will be some that if you guys have questions about, feel free to ask about, and I'll tell you what my experience was using them, because I most likely have used them before. So let's go to the next one on the list. And the next one we have is another free option, and that is going to be dafont.com. So if you're looking for fonts, this is a really good website to find fonts. You can find some actually like really good fonts. So let's see. I think this one is actually on here. Nope. Let's just do this. Let's just go to themes, and then we will go over here and find, like, you can find a bunch of different fonts on here. You can find your favorite font and look it up, and then you'll be able to go in here and download it for free. It has a ton of good fonts. Now, if you can't find the font that you're looking for over here, then you could probably definitely find it over here on free fonts, or I'm sorry, this is fontsquirrel.com. And you can find, so this is, we'll just actually go by popular, and you'll find some of the most, the Monster Ranch, the Open Sans, Railway, Roboto, Bebas Niu, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, you'll find a lot of free fonts over here. And this is, fonts are just like anything else. You need the license to be able to use these things. And in order to be able to find free fonts and everything like that, and the fonts that you have the license to be able to use, you definitely need to make sure that you're pulling it from a source that will allow you to be able to use it. And so these are, from my experience, always, whenever you download these fonts, you definitely want to look at the license with them, just like anything that you're getting for free. But I've been able to find more fonts from these two websites than any other place at all. So let's see. That looks like that is, let me double check and check on my list. Those were yeah. So that's all I have as far as like assets and things that I use for content creation. Let me know down in the comments. I don't want to take up too much of your time. If you don't have any questions, that's fine too. But if you have any other questions, please let me know down in the chat, or let me know down in the comments, and we will go from there. Also, let me know if you guys have big plans for Valentine's Day. I got my daughter a balloon. She's 3, and I got her a balloon and some chocolate, and she loved it. She's big into balloons, and anything that's sweet these days, she is definitely in love with right now. Gabriel says, I love your videos. Would love to see your content on TikTok too. If you, okay. I actually do. I don't really post that much on TikTok anymore. If you want to find me on TikTok, just type in TYLERWHTE and you'll find me over on TikTok. So it's Tyler White without the I. And you can see some of my content over there on TikTok. I need to get better about posting over on TikTok, but a lot of what I've just been mainly focusing on YouTube over the past year. And it's hard whenever you're trying to, focus on the different platforms, different algorithms and everything like that. But yeah, let me, just, you find me over there, comment on one of my videos, and I'd love to reach out to you. All right. Well, if nobody has any other questions, that's fine too. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I got a lot of big plans this weekend. I hope you guys do too. And we got a video going up on Sunday. So I plan on filming a lot of content this weekend. And we got the video, or not Sunday, sorry. We got a video going up on Monday. So we'll have a new video going up on Monday. And then we got a lot of other stuff that's coming down the pipe. Sorry that it was a little bit kind of all over the place today. We've been super busy and I've just had a lot of stuff going on. No excuse, but it was good. I think we've been doing this for over a month now. So it's really cool to jump on and go live with you guys. And yeah, so if there's anything that you guys would like to see, whether you're on the right now in the chat or, on the replay, there's future things that you want to like to see on these live streams, always feel free to let me know. I'm all about changing this up. Doesn't always have to be right here behind the desk. It could be certain things that you guys want to know more about. Feel free to let me know down in the comments or send me a message on one of the other social platforms, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you in the next one.